Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Acacia Clement, Andy Serling. Just reminiscing about some funny moments in our careers here. Anyhow, we've got a pick six carryover today, just a little bit under $26,000, and sort of odd, I guess, not any particularly wild horses winning, but kind of a tough one to put together in the last race when the favorite didn't win.
Well, it was kind of wild because it was the two favorites were covered in the pick six in the last race, and the horse that won was only like 3 to 1. So she was not a big price, but she was not covered because she had such more of a turf pedigree and was a turf horse, but she ran to the money.
It's like they either leaned on the favorite or they used the first time starter, right? It was one of those things, and it's hard to predict how pick sixes play, and I think sometimes people get just skewed by the odds. I remember back in the day, way back, Eric and I would know, how many tickets were live to each horse going into a race, and I remember one day I was alive in a pick six, and I had singled the favorite, and there were only like 3 tickets to the favorite, the horse I had. I had used like 2 in the last, and like 8 or 9 to the horse that actually won. It was the second choice at 5 to 2. The craziest one I ever saw in that situation was, there was, I think, it must have been a carryover. I think it was 84,000, roughly 84,000 in the pool.
Yeah.
And a 70 to 1 for Gary Siaka won the first leg. And there was only $14 total in the pick six on the horse. The horse was literally 7,000 to 1 in the pick six. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like one person used the horse on a backup ticket.
And that was pretty much it.
It seems like a if I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't believe it, because it feels like a mathematical impossibility. But it was just really random.
So interesting.
It wasn't hit, by the way. They didn't get
I would imagine not.
Kind of was rooting for them, actually. It seemed
I know. If you get past that leg, you deserve to go far.
Yeah, it'd be pretty amazing. Anyway, we got 9 to talk about. We're off the turf except for races 3 and 8. We didn't get quite as much rain as they had thought. I mean, there were reports we were going to be a monsoon, but we got some. We'll be good, I assume, for tomorrow, though. The weather's nice. And we'll get to that after you head over to Naira Bets. Head on over and use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Any track, anywhere, anytime, any place, any whatever. $25,970. That begins in race number 4, the pick six carryover. I think we've had as many, if not more, pick six carryovers here than we in Saratoga. And in Saratoga, the pools are bigger, so you have much more coverage in those races. We've also had a lot of days shots here when we've had prices winning. There have been plenty of opportunities in this meet, not necessarily even just ludicrous, 40 to 1 shots, horses that may have been havable, just square prices overall and tough to put together in the pick six. Contest, $300 buy-in, have till post time tomorrow. Get all the information at nairabets.com/contest. You can only play this through Naira Bets. What gray is that?
I don't know. They've been using that picture for a long time, and it drives me nuts.
It's a 10 horse.
I think it's like a New York bred stake or a Stallion Series race or something.
Okay.
That's like one of the few that I can't figure out, because I know I like
it's like a jelly bean.
Scottish Lassie was the first one.
Yes, that I knew.
And then the previous horse, I want to say it was a Chad Brown horse.
I wonder what they're doing with Scottish Lassie. I don't know.
I
wonder if they're going to the
Breeders'
Cup.
And this one I can't guess.
All right, let's go. Let's go, Eddie. This one we know is a Craig Bernick horse.
Ocean.
Ocean Drive.
Ocean Club, I think.
Ocean Club, is that
it? Her? Yeah, I think that's her.
5,000 hit and split, late pick 5 here. You want to opt in for that. You're playing late pick 5. We have a 10 times points. Santa Anita, is that today they open? Frank's got to go back to work?
Today, I believe.
Wow, Frank is back at work. Privman's running in the Goodwood tomorrow. I got to root for him.
Cool.
For Jay. I was talking to Jay the other day. It's actually gotten good. He got a 97 buyer, and the horse he beat came back and
it's always tough when you name horses after people.
Yes, but I like seeing him do well. I will definitely. I don't think he's good enough to win that race, but he seems to be improving. What else do we have? The show 1 to 5:30. Oh, why I'm so tired this morning. I felt like I slept a while. Anyway, all right. Race number 1. Let's talk about Higher Force, the horse on the outside for Rudy Rodriguez, who I kind of doubt will be 5 to 1 by the time we get to post time. Horse actually ran well last time, beaten by Boxed Winer, got a perfect trip, cuts back from 9 furlongs to a mile, which I think a number of horses they're doing in this race. And I don't know. I will say Rudy's barn has gotten very hot since this last race, so maybe that's a good sign, though this was towards the end of the meet, so maybe it was already showing us heating up. This race was such a dichotomous performance, though, the horse's prior races.
Yes.
I kind of want to see it again.
That was my big concern about it. It was a better performance than we've seen from her previously. I mean, George Weaver was not able to get her to win and felt like it gave her plenty of chances on a variety of surfaces, too. And so that's why it was just tough for me to go for that one.
So what's the deal with Sweet Anniversary?
Sweet Anniversary, I thought, was really uncomfortable last time out when she didn't get the lead. She was pulling and got keen and just never really looked like she was traveling well. I know that she ran well at the 1 1/8, 2 starts back. I thought that was a very soft field, and I just was really concerned that it was just a bit too far for her. So I felt like the mile was going to be the sweet spot. She probably, with a higher force in there, we'll see what happens for the pace. But I think as she's drawn inside, Kendra Carmouche is going to be aggressive with her, and I felt this was the right distance.
Well, I think it's a positive rider change getting Kendrick aboard, which I don't think is going to hurt her chances.
Yeah.
I've never loved this horse. Her better races have come at Finger Lakes, but she's run well enough here. And listen, this is an open race. I don't have
she's
a particularly strong.
overall.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion here. I picked Straka. I just felt has been running against better horses and thought she was dropping down into a much more reasonable spot in this race for Dave Duggan. No great shakes. I just thought she made some sense getting a little bit of class relief in here. What about the 2 Amy's Light? Horse that I consider very strong.
I looked at this horse for such a long time.
She has back form that's good enough to win, and she's second off a layoff. And you know, you could say she probably ran against better horses last time out, and it was a little bit of a layoff. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with her, but she's got a couple races good enough, and because of the connection, she'll probably be a pretty square price.
I mean, the last time she went a mile was back in May, and she finished a really good second that day at 21-1.
In the mud, sealed track, but still, she's run well on dry tracks.
But she's run well on dry tracks before, and every so often she shows up with some pretty good efforts.
Yeah, I worried a little bit that her race before the layoff was bad, and she came back and didn't run as well. But she's got credentials to win. I thought this was a fairly wide open race. Race number 2. I think we should start the conversation with Looms Boldly. We both put second in this race. I don't have a big argument against him. He's supposed to clear the front, and he's a horse that does his best running on the lead. He wasn't able to get it last time out early, and I think if he clears, he can wire the field. My biggest problem was I just don't love horses claimed away from Brad Cox. I don't care who does the claiming.
Me too. Yeah,
that's why I didn't put him on top.
And I felt like I completely agree, and I know you and I both have a world of respect for the work that Fernando Abreu does, especially claiming horses, but it is just hard taking them from Brad Cox, and especially because it seemed like it was such a give up with this horse last time out. He'd been running, I know at Finger Lakes, but he had been running a bit.
His form has gotten a little bit dicey.
And physically, he'd kind of gone the wrong way as well. So that's why it was just a little bit hesitant about him, even though you do have to respect his back races. I mean, if he runs his best effort,
he's going to win this race for fun, but he's not going to run that race.
No.
The question is, what facsimile of that race are you going to get? Why did you like From Another Mother?
From Another Mother, I thought going back down to a level at which he belongs. He was not the quickest out last time out, and he was kind of
He was awful last time.
He didn't run, but it looked to me watching that race again like he never really got into a comfortable rhythm throughout the running of that race. It seemed like Irad Ortiz was kind of niggling at him throughout, and he never really got in comfortably in there as well. So he's claimed for the Cantor Mossy barn. I think he's going back down, like I said, to the level at which he belongs in here. Thought he ran well 2 starts back when going the 1 1/8, which is not something I felt that it is really the plus for him.
But he's done well at a 1 1/8, so I thought he ran fine in that race.
He ran fine that day, but I actually like him sprinting.
Yeah, I wonder a little about the 6 furlongs.
I think it's a bit short.
The Cantor Mossy barn had been kind of chilly. They're always sort of a hit and miss. You know, they'll be hot and they'll be cold. They've started to heat up. They had a win yesterday with Systemic Change, and it feels like their horses are running better. I've always had an affinity for him, so I took him as the alternative. I will take a look at He's My Honey Badger and Screaming Uncle. I'm not thrilled with either one of these two. You know, He's My Honey Badger had avoided claim out of this race.
And then Miss Saratoga.
Now hasn't run for 3 months and comes back. I don't know what to do with avoided claims. Obviously, they both got bigger figs in this race, but I wonder a little bit. You look at Screaming Uncle, who ran that big figure, and I know he took advantage of being inside speed on the track, and it was an inside track that day, and he took advantage of a bias. I still wonder how much I can trust either one of these horses, to be honest. And Honey's my Honey Badger. Brad Cox had him, Linda Rice had him, Rob Atras had him, and I just feel like he's been in some sharp barns and is one of the favorites. I wasn't enamored with him.
I agree. And as far as Screaming Uncle, I mean, he's never run a figure close to what he did in that win 2 starts back as well. Yes, agreed, taking advantage of that. And like you said, he's my Honey Badger, missing that time. I thought he was maybe a touch suspicious in there. I thought Conniving at a big price. If there is a little bit of pressure onto Looms Boldly, or we'll see how things do play out. I don't know who could send if maybe he's my Honey Badger tries to be aggressive, but I thought it was a little bit interesting going back to this level.
All right, see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3, we are on the turf. Turf is listed as good, and keep in mind the rails are way out right now, and they're going to come down, and we're going to be on the rail on the inside on both courses for the first time since back in June, actually. So it'll be interesting that happens tomorrow. To the person who doesn't believe that Maggie and Acacia should be offering opinions in races their husbands are in, to insinuate that is to insinuate that you're being dishonest. It's to insinuate that maybe you know something. Now, I don't think you picking National Archive is going to affect her price one way or the other. No. I don't think people are looking going, oh, Acacia doesn't like National Archive. She must be sick or not training well, or if you do like her, you have some inside information. It's a tough spot you're in, and a lot of people in this industry are related to people. And listen, we also have friends. Listen, we're all friends with people, and you've got to assume, I think when somebody, and I respect the people that say these things, and I understand that the idea of a conflict of interest, the assumption is, and I know you, both you and Maggie very well, and I respect the two of you a great deal, I don't question your integrity. I mean, I may disagree with your opinions. I may think you're wrong for not picking your husband's horses occasions. I've picked them and you guys haven't. And, you know, it works both ways. But to insinuate that there's something going on is wholly unfair, as you're just trying to pick winners. I mean, you and Maggie would like to pick winners. It's not like, and if you liked your husband's horses, you would be picking them. So I think that people are just looking for a situation that frankly just doesn't exist.
Christoph always told me, you should always have an opinion, because somebody had commented, oh, she didn't pick your horse, and he said, no, you should always have your opinion, and I've always tried to stick to that. So
yeah,
of course, I want, you know, the horses to win, and I believe Maggie feels the same way. But
of course you do.
It's our job to be as unbiased as possible.
Right, and this is a horse who's the favorite in this race. It comes up, you know, Roddy Valenti will text us sometimes, and he'll say, you know, Roddy and I have been friends for forever, and he'll say, my friends say, I thought Andy was your friend, how come he didn't pick your horse? And he's like, I don't know. I said, Rod, I'm not rooting against you. I hope my friends all do well. I mean, there are multiple horses in the race I like to see do well. It's not. Anyway, as far as National Archive, the last race, you know what one of my problems with this horse is? And she could certainly win. I'm not saying she's in a particularly killer field today.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love the field she was in last time either.
I think it was kind of her and Alamara and then everybody else.
And she got a very, very soft trip. Now she may get another soft trip.
She did have to stop and start a little bit there, and she ducked down to the inside, but she did get to save all the ground in there.
And I mean, she is improving. I thought she actually ran well to win 2 back when Flavien had to make that big, huge, wide brush, the way the race played out. But I'm not convinced she's any great shakes in here. And like you, I've got her third. I thought there were some other alternatives here as well. I'm not convinced the horse that you picked wants this distance, though.
That's my biggest question. My main hope with her, and I know that she won coming from off of it last time out, and she was far back, but early on in some of her other turf races, she has kind of been in a stalking spot, and she's always one that's so energetic prior to her races that I was hoping that John Velasquez would be a bit more aggressive with her and kind of put her into the race, because I know that this is a long race, but there is no pace signed on, no confirmed pace setter in this race, and a lot will depend what Flavien Prat does with National Archive. She's not necessarily a leader type, but she was more forward last time. She's not going to be far out of it. She's not going to be far out of it. I don't think Pookie will be far out of it, and I was hoping Trail of Gold wouldn't be either, but I think a lot of it depends on how things do play out, because they could go pretty slow on the front.
Trail of Gold might have been one of the biggest overlays of the Saratoga meet last time at 6-1.
I know, don't know
I
how
have
she was
no
that
idea
priced
with
when I went
IRAD
back
to boot.
look at it again. I know.
I think David had her 5-2 or 3-1
and she
morning
had
line.
trouble in the Susie O'Kane.
I actually liked her in that race. I just thought she was super obvious. Right,
Yeah.
she had a bit of a trip in the race before. She'd run kind of well. She's a little lucky to win 3 back, but nonetheless, I remember watching the race because Chad Brown trained Nota Lynn, who did come back to win, but
She
beat
did.
a indiscriminate field, and Hangover Heaven, the same thing. She was cutting back to 6 furlongs, so I wouldn't call this a key race by any means. And I remember I was sitting in the box, and Chad was sitting a couple boxes from me, and when she ran her by, Chad looked at me and said to me, "How did this horse just pay 6-1? She's the
know.
fastest horse in the sheets."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't know, Chad. I liked her. I have no idea how she paid 6-1. She seemed like the overlay of the century. It was bizarre, especially with IRAD.
I know.
For all the horses that IRAD
know.
rides that are massively overbet.
Didn't Hangover Heaven took a lot of money in that race.
Well, she had that visually impressive
visually
race.
impressive first
I think
sprint.
Midnight Concerto is okay, but I think the assumption with Midnight Concerto is, oh, she's a deep closer, she'll want more distance.
Right.
Well, she's also a bit pace compromised if there's no pace.
That was my concern with her.
She has a problem. I mean, she's such a plotter. She's not bad, actually. She's just
I
a
know.
plotter. And Jimmy's been doing great work with the horses for the
Saw
Kenny
Jimmy in
McPeak
the
barn.
paddock yesterday,
I
Jimmy
know.
Jerkins.
I wanted to
It
say
was
hi.
awesome.
I'm hoping to be off one day when he's down there and say hi.
Well,
I
this
haven't
horse has been up
seen
with
him in a while.
Saratoga, so
Yeah.
she hasn't been with
Right.
Jimmy, but he has all the Belmont-based ones for Kenny.
As far as Pookie, you know, I've been giving her a lot of looks in races and haven't been picking her in races. I'd love to see Dylan and Tom
know.
think, you know what, let's just go to the lead and try something new.
Yeah.
Now, she can go to the lead in this race and just not be good enough because there is a real question to whether she's good enough. But this is a horse that, you know, she ran well enough in the Lavender Disaster race. I also felt like after breaking a little slowly, Dylan just got lost on her last time. That was a race with a big long shot at 39-1, wire the field. All the running in that race was done on the rail, and she wasn't wide, but she was 2 to 3 wide. So she was never on the rail in that race, and she obviously had no chance whatsoever in the Lake George coming off the layoff. So I feel like she's finally in a race she may have a shot. I don't know. I've always thought she had a little bit of ability, and I feel like today is the day to take her at a bit of a price in a totally new situation where hopefully she can be forward. She may just not be good enough anymore. I mean, that's a real concern, obviously.
I know that she's been a bit frustrating, and no fault of her own for Tom Worley, because she was rained off multiple times trying to get a race, and that's how she ended up going right into the Lake George, because it was really kind of the only turf race for her that they could get around that time. So I think maybe she's kind of been thrown into some spots that may not be 100% ideal for her, but with the pedigree she should be able to handle the distance.
Right, the Dam was a European who ran some distance races.
She
I
did.
looked that
She's by
up.
Warfront, so I thought she was interesting as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Mile and 3/8. I thought this was more interesting than just picking a horse trained by Acacia's husband. Is this the race with the weird horse, or is that what's the horse I was texting you about? Is that tomorrow, that Warfront?
That's Saturday.
That's tomorrow?
Yes.
There's a funny pedigree horse in tomorrow,
Yeah,
and you
that's
look
Saturday.
it up. It's a New York bred that's
Yes.
a Warfront with a graded stakes-winning dam that sold for $10,000. If anybody that understands why, Acacia and I were talking about it, and we didn't.
I didn't look at her
know.
at the sale, so I didn't have anything to go back
Yeah,
at.
I actually meant to ask Chad, too, about it because it just
Mm-hmm.
seemed very odd. Anyway, I'm sure some people have seen that, looked at tomorrow's card. When you do, you'll notice that horse. Race number 4 is off the turf in here, and it does begin the pick 6 carryover.
Eddie's on top of things. Look at that.
Eddie's got his game. I saw Eddie coming in today. I kind of followed him coming in. You know, Eddie, you really, you know, I was looking at your parking spot. I don't think you're getting the respect you deserve. I really don't. Eddie parks at Belmont, actually, when he comes
And he
back.
walks.
And he walks over from Belmont. We'll take a look at the horse you picked. Let's Get Weird. I don't like this horse, Acacia. Why do you
Okay.
like this horse?
I think
Not that she can win, but
is a
he
strong
can
word.
win. I just hate the race he's coming out of.
I know, but he did on debut. I mean, look, he's been running for Maiden 30. I know that this is a 50,000, but he is a dirt
Well,
horse, and he
it's a
has some
dog
speed.
turf.
Yeah, exactly. He has some speed. And now, the body of the race is actually a bit intriguing because there's a lot of horses with some dirt form that have been right there. So he's a gray horse. He was kind of pressing, and he actually re-engaged where there were some other horses closing late, but he does have some speed. I saw him first time out where he ran behind Captain Jack Sparrow, who just won again the other day for Mike Maker. And this is a horse I thought just really needed some fitness. Finished a bit better last time, and I'm hoping Romero Mirage just uses that speed, and he has some durability.
Okay. I didn't love the horse that beat him last time. You know, Captain Jack Sparrow, I got some grief because I couldn't immediately name it was those were the Pirates of the Caribbean. There's so many better Johnny Depp movies to name horses after.
Yeah, but didn't you hear my interview with Buck Butler?
No, what did he say?
You didn't listen while I was doing the interview.
It was very short, as I remember.
It was pretty short. I mean,
What was the story?
Race.
Maybe
but
I did hear it.
I
Maybe
asked
it
about
was
the name, and because the horse has one eye, which is why he runs with his head turned. And he said I needed a pirate. So, and because of, the naming rules, the Jockey Club, you can't actually name him Captain Jack Sparrow.
I got you.
So that's why he did kind of the.
What are the best Johnny Depp movies? Donnie Brasco, maybe. Donnie Brasco's a great movie.
It is a good movie.
Pacino's great in that.
He's been in so many.
Benny and June. Where do you stand on Benny and June? You ever see Benny and June?
I haven't seen that.
Benny and June's great.
Yeah.
Benny
He's
and
an amazing actor.
Benny and June is really, really good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Benny and June. Kind of somewhat of a forgotten movie, but a good movie. All right. I got another replay for this race. Oh, how about Tom's Chicken Fingers coming off the layoff for Michelle? You've got the horse second. I've got the horse second. I don't love Michelle off these layoffs.
I know. That was my big concern with this horse.
I felt like he was running a little bit better in these races. And I don't know, in this field, this horse has to be considered dangerous, right?
I agree. Has some speed. Ran a decent second last time out. Yes, it was the layoff that concerned me a little bit, too, as this is a horse the last time he had a layoff back in October of last year. I had kind of written in my notes that he looked a lot better when he got back in November and kind of was racing into fitness. So unfortunately now has to start over again. I would like eventually maybe to see him back on the grass, but no problems with him on the dirt.
I like the 9 Game Bred, who I just feel like has been running in some better fields. I mean, Long Pour.
I actually was kind of excited
to
see this horse on the turf.
I was interested to see him on the turf, too. I did not have him anywhere. He does have a bunch of pedigree for it, but I just thought he's been running against better horses. I like the drop down in here for an off-the-turf race. Just thought Game Bred was a very logical horse to start this race out. All right, let's go to the pick 6 out, race number 5. We'll break after 5. This is a very tricky race that is unfortunately too many scratches. And honestly, stop entering your horses in scratching because you don't like the field you're in or you have these things, because you can say what you want. There's a lot of nonsense going on, and people handicap these races. And, when a race goes from 9 to 6, it's
It changed the dynamic of the race.
There is a lack of understanding of the bigger picture by way too many people in this game. And it kind of frustrates me at times. So we'll take a look at Yo Banana Boy and I'm Wide Awake. You've got I'm Wide Awake on top. I think Yo Banana Boy is very dangerous, getting Lasix. I wonder if Kendrick will be more aggressive. I'm worried that I'm Wide Awake's form is declining a little bit.
So I actually slightly disagree because I thought that the turf race, I think, first of all, it's very interesting that he ran so well on the turf and now he's back in on the dirt today.
Well, he got totally loose in that race.
He did.
It was kind of a phonied up race.
I thought this is a horse I kind of been watching because he has the tendency to get out. He has the tendency to drift. And you could kind of even see it back when he was down at Oaklawn. And I know that they had really worked to purchase him because he's a New York bred, and he was able to come back and was eligible for the New York bred 1X. So I think a good purchase for that. And then he kind of declined. He was getting out more. He wasn't really moving as well. Then last time he was doing really well. I actually liked him a bit on the turf. He ran very well. And I know that he's back in on the dirt today, but I thought that last time, even if it was on a different surface, altogether was a step in the right direction for him.
Okay. Listen, he's got back races that would just crush this field. I'm not so sure. I don't like the fact that the race we showed, Yo Banana Boy, who's never been one who's shown an ability to rate, was still able to get by him at the end. And now Yo Banana Boy picks up Lasix and gets Kendrick,
he was getting
who I think is going to be
badly on the turn that day.
Yeah, I don't totally trust Yo Banana Boy. I do have sort of an affinity for him. And listen, I think both of these horses can win, though you don't seem to be a big fan of Yo Banana Boy.
I just don't trust him. I don't trust either of them, to be fair. I should have bumped him up a little bit, Yo Banana Boy with the scratches, but I just felt like we've kind of maybe seen what he is.
You have factually correct. We'll take a look at his last race real well. The problem with factually correct is I don't totally trust this horse if he can't make the lead.
I know.
And with the 5 and 9 in here, either he's going too fast in races where he's been able, I mean, I wouldn't say this was a slow pace because it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination, but in a lot of ways he probably should have won this race. I just don't trust him without the lead, and I don't know that he's getting it here.
That's a big question. He is a reclaim for Fernando Abreu. He's been an incredibly popular horse to claim recently. Michelle Nevin claimed him a couple times. Like I said, Fernando reclaiming him. He's been in very sharp outfits.
And he hasn't won a race in forever, and everybody wants to claim him.
Everybody wants to claim him.
It's
so
weird.
there must be something about him that is appealing. You know, because like I said, it's sharp outfits that have him too. So yes, him not getting the lead, I think, is a bit of a question. I know he's not a winning type. That's why I put him second, because I thought he was overall pretty consistent, at least as far as his figures and hitting the board.
I picked the slowest horse in the race in Bostonian. But
I did not know what to do with this
Well,
horse.
he's a Wesley Ward horse that was running mid-70 buyers as a 2-year-old, which could easily be mid to high 80 buyers coming back. And I just feel Wesley's a guy who's ready to scratch at any time. And I thought, wow, this is a tough spot that Wesley's entered this horse in.
Yeah.
And he knows, entering in an optional race, now maybe the horse needs a race, he's trying to get a race into him, and he's got a bigger race down the road, and that could be the case. But it just seemed like, geez, Wesley's picking an awfully tough spot. He knows that this race is going to come up salty. He knows the kind of horse is going to show up in here. And yeah, I know there's other speed, and he's got the rail, et cetera. I'm going to kind of trust in Wesley.
He's not that quick out of the gate,
No,
though.
he's not faster
he
than the 5 and 9.
Yeah,
He's not.
yeah.
But having said that, I'm just kind of trusting in Wesley in this spot. What is he doing in here in a race where when you first look at it, what's he doing? And maybe he's not necessarily too slow to win. We'll see what happens in race 5. We'll come back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Acacia and Andy. Race number 6 is off the turf. Race number 8 will remain on the turf. The only turf race in the pick 6 sequence, one of 2 today. And talk about Time to Roll, who I also picked.
Oh, this horse, he was wide, he was keen, he was so hard to handle first time out, and just, I mean, certainly had a bit of a no man's trip in there for sure. Never able to check in and save any ground at all. But this is a horse that I know has always trained exceptionally well on the dirt. And while the Damslone win was on the turf, there was a sibling who did win on the dirt. Not this time, can do anything. He's been an incredible sire. And I just really thought that this was a horse who was going to improve after a race. And I remember Horacio saying mentally he really thought he needed a start.
He's not this time. He's got plenty of dirt pedigree to handle it, and I picked him as well. He ran well last time. I agree with you. I thought the 2 was a little interesting, a firster for Dave Duggan. This horse does not have an abundance of turf pedigree and has worked well, and I thought this could be a dangerous first-time star in this race, a horse that may well have speed. You've got the 8 Newland for George Weaver. I never know what to do. This horse broke slow last time out and actually didn't run that badly in that race. Was a contender on turf or dirt.
Yes, agreed. And then while this horse, you look, and he is by Munnings, which is, you don't can handle the turf. We don't think of him as a turf sire. The Dam is the sister to Normandy Invasion, who was second in the Wood Memorial, and also.
Well, he should have won the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
I mean, he moved way too soon.
He's a very good horse.
He was clearly
He's a
best in Orbs Derby. Yeah.
And then also sister to Princess Ash, who's the Dame of Quip, who's a multiple stakes, graded stakes winner on the dirt. So there is some dirt pedigree in there. No, Rudy Brisset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Win the Tampa Bay Derby or something, maybe?
Tampa Bay Derby, and he ran in the Preakness, because I remember talking to him at the Preakness about this horse. But yeah, George won an off-the-turf 2-year-old race yesterday as well.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 6. Race number 7, the Beldame. Hey, listen, we managed to keep it a 4-horse field. That's important to.
I think
it's
that's
important.
a big,
well, I'm listening. Majestic Oops face. She is stable at Monmouth, so you know he's certainly allowed to shop and find what he thinks is the right spot. I'm not sure why this wasn't the right spot, but I haven't looked at the race at Delaware, and I never planned to look at it. We'll take a look at randomized. winning the Molly Pitcher where she beat Majestic Ops. Randomized is a Jekyll and Hyde, but when she's good, she's very good, and she is the controlling speed. She's supposed to be very tough to beat here.
Especially given what she's facing today, just as a fact.
Yep.
I like Margie's Intention as a horse altogether, but I think Randomize has the tactical advantage. If she shows up with one of her better races, I think she's just the best horse in this field, and she is quick as well.
She is quick. She is quick. And, you know, the other horse who potentially has speed, and we'll go right to the replay of Gunsong almost beating Torpedo Anna last year. The problem isn't necessarily Gunsong, who has enough speed to put herself at least in the mix early and likely to be sitting second. The problem is that she has not come close to showing.
I know.
I mean, she was so good for Mark last year, consistent.
She
always
didn't
show
do
up.
that
She ran
3
well.
to 4 job.
She's a good example of a horse
Yeah.
that just never turned the corner. And
I
I've wanted her to. I've always liked this horse. I
too.
want to see Mark do well, but I've always liked her. I always thought she was a really nice horse. I remember she was some crazy morning lie in the Black Eyed Susan.
Oh, I
was joking
know.
with Mark and saying she literally couldn't lose that race.
Yeah.
She's a good horse,
She
but
is.
she's just an example of, you know, horses that just don't necessarily continue that good 3-year-old form. I'd love to see her run well, but I just don't know if she has it in her anymore.
I know. She, you know, we often talk a lot about that jump from 2 to 3. Sometimes it's even more important, the 3 to 4 jump. Especially because if they stay in training at that time, you'll see often a really big development. And those that don't do that jump, I think, struggle. I thought that she could tactically kind of put herself into that spot, but yes, I agree. It is a big concern.
Seems like Margie's Intention is kind of improving a little bit for Brad, and
She
seems
is.
interesting. I always loved, do you remember the Dam of Gunsong, Nicole H., or is she a little before your time?
No, I don't
She was a
remember.
Mike Hushin horse. She was a
Cool.
really nice sprinter. She
Yeah.
won the Barbara Fritchie.
Oh,
But
yeah.
she was a very nice horse that Mike trained, and I always like seeing horses that remind me of Mike. Race number 8, we are on the turf, and I'm curious as to why you like the same horse that I like.
Well, she did not have her trip last time out. She was off slow. She got really keen at the back. She was trying to rally, but that's not the trip that she wants. This horse wants to be forwardly placed, and
Well, she's not going to be forward here with
She's-
Eric in a race with a lot of speed.
yes,
so
there's going to be
good
speed,
luck to
but
that happening.
she's going to be more forward. But she did get keen when she was very far back, and she's taking a big drop in class. I've always thought she's a turf horse.
Yeah, I have some questions on whether or not she can run anymore. And I don't like when horses just get left the way she did. But having said that, as I sifted through horse after horse in this race, there were a lot of horses I didn't want, and I
I
wanted
know.
somebody a bit of a price.
a
The other
tough
thing
race.
about Long-Legged Queen is 2 races back in June, she was wide against a good rail. And we saw Blossoming Erudite come back and just smash a better field here the other day. So it might be a better race than it looks. As I go through the race, I know Inflammable's improved a little bit. She's just not that good. We can watch the replay that involves West Loop and Parade Ring, where I think Parade Ring ran well, and she could come back and win. I have no knock on her. I think you have her second. I have her third. She ran well. Now, West Loop is going to get herself just sort of, you know, there she is down in the rail with the yellow cap with Jose. And by the way, we hope Jose's coming back soon. And she does kind of get stopped on the inside. And, you know, she didn't run that badly in there with a good trip, but I don't think she was finishing that well. And the other thing is, I don't know if you looked these stats up, Mike Maker off the claim with turf sprinters is 0 for 16 at Naira. Now, 9 hit the board. 4 were second, and he is 9 for 48 overall, but just a $1.43 ROI, and his numbers off the claim with turf sprinters are just not that good. I thought it was a very interesting claim.
Yeah, it
Taking
is.
over this horse from a barn that hasn't been winning. I thought it was the Flying P and gets Flavian Pratt. I just don't trust this horse, but I did put her second.
I didn't really trust her either. I
She's
didn't
a
know
morning
what
line
to
favorite.
do with her. Is she?
Yeah,
Well, I
she's
guess,
7. It's
yeah,
a very
yeah.
hard race.
Yeah. It is a hard race.
Listen, Kyle's Cause is not impossible in here.
I
that
thought
maiden
she
was
really
pretty good.
improved last time out.
Yeah.
She'd not run poorly before that. And, you know, those were 2-year-old figures. You see a natural progression as well. I think she comes back at a logical next spot after breaking her maiden for $50,000 last time. And I thought she actually won pretty nicely that day.
I tried to make Phoebe in Wonderland. I think she's not nearly as good as her races make her look.
I think
don't think
she's
doing
dressed up
any
a
run.
bit, but she is dropping.
What about Speed of Sound as a speed in this race?
Yeah, she
Can
went
she
right
be the
to
speed
the
of the
lead.
speed?
She went right to the lead last time out. I think she is the speed of the speed, though she's not the quickest immediately out of the gate, but she does kind of rocket to the front pretty quickly.
Yeah. I don't really want to bet her off the claim, but she is a speed, and the race should have some speed.
Yep.
I thought Leslie Starr got a great trip last time, and just the more I looked at this race, there are a lot of horses
really
with
tough
decent
race.
trips, and I just thought the 4 would be a bit of a price, and she's had excuses in what I thought were 2 straight races. See what happens in race number 8. I have no confidence that she can still run. That's my problem with Long-Legged Queen. Race number 9 off the turf.
I found this, well, it should be noted, this race and the 6th race was a split
So
of
they
the
have to
same
either
race.
both
so they
stay
have to
on or
either
both come
stay
off.
on or both come off the turf. And I thought that this one coming off the turf was far trickier, at least as far as my opinion, because neither of the main track onlys, and I did kind of lean on those, but neither of them really have a lot to sink your teeth into.
I agree. I mean, I guess with Hell's Kitchen, the only one is that they're deciding to definitely run the horse in the dirt. So maybe you think the first race was a prep. Isn't this more turf, though, the dam side?
There is. There was a sibling that won on the dirt. City of Lights I usually prefer on the grass, but this is a horse, like I said, it's main track only. Flavian Pratt stays aboard, or climbs aboard, I should say. And as far as the other main track only Speedster, didn't run a step after kind of getting knocked around at the start on debut, but he was incredibly green in the preliminary. So I thought if he could be a bit more focused today,
I watched that race carefully, and I wished I had seen more than I saw, because I think there's something so interesting. What about, Kaltikoff, the 10? It's a half the Scythian, and there's a lot of turf, but there's also plenty of dirt in that family.
There
Has
is.
Tacitus had a winner yet?
He's 3 for 40. A lot of them are
They all
kind
have
of
to want to go long, right?
slow
Right.
types.
Yeah, I thought that horse was a little interesting. I'm going to take Jack's World. I figured if Linda left Jack's World in, I would bet him. He had a bit of a trip last time after breaking slowly. And we've seen Linda run first time on the turf and then go to dirt and see them do well. I thought he ran very well in there. I thought he was going to be tough on the dirt. I picked him on the turf. I picked him second, and I figured in this case I'd take a free roll. If Linda stays in, I'll keep him. If not, I'll take your 11. She stays in, so I'll take Jack's World in this spot. But
Makes
it's
sense.
mostly guessing. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to like Gaming Wizard, and the thing about Gaming Wizard, he is a horse that has plenty of dirt pedigree. He did run well last time.
He did.
And he was flying at the end, but doesn't strike me as a horse I really want in the dirt.
No, and he's actually, while there is some dirt pedigree, the better horses in the family are turf.
It feels
The
like with
second
that
dam was a
pedigree,
really good
going to the
turf
turf
horse.
was a sign that they didn't want to run in the
Yeah.
dirt. Now, maybe they're going to say we wanted to run longer. I'm always skeptical of that,
I
but it
know.
could be the case.
I
and
was very
Barnes going
interested
well.
in him when he was on the turf today.
All right. I agree on the turf.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting race, and he
Yeah.
was clearly a huge player on the turf. Keisha, thanks. Thank you for watching. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present. Use the promo code MATCH200, and we'll match $200 of your initial deposit. We have a pick 6 carryover, $25,972. That'll start in race number 4 of our 9-race card. We've also got the Saturday contest. You have to post time tomorrow, $300 buy-in. Must play it through Naira Bets. Get all the info at nairabets.com/contests. We have a $5,000 hit and split, the late pick 5, which I am going to opt in on right now.
Nice.
We've got a 10 times points, if you get points, on the Santa Anita opening day card, which is today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Santa Anita.
It is a
I wish the
gorgeous
Breeders' Cup was
racetrack.
there. I really...
It really is one of
great venue.
really perfect venue. For
I
a
agree.
horse.
I don't think there's a nicer track in America than Santa Anita. I absolutely love it out there. For all those idiots that think I don't like California racing, the opposite is
When
true.
you go watch like the training in the morning to see the sunrise there with the mountain. I mean, it is so beautiful.
It's a glorious place. I'll never forget the first time I went there. The first day I was there, it was 86, the Friday for the Breeders' Cup, and it was smoggy, and you couldn't see the mountains. So when we came back from Breeders' Cup Day, it was a beautiful day. You could see the mountains, and I didn't really know the whole thing, and I just,
beautiful.
yeah, I love Santa Anita. Anyway, what else do we have? We've got, the show, 1 to 5:30 on FS2. I am on early with you.
Yes.
Excellent.
And then I report late.
All right, we're done. Chris Griffin up next, the reprise scratch stages. Good luck, and good luck if you're playing the pick 6 especially.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.